The good people of America, sure, they don't know what gender they are. Sure, they're told that being not racist is now being racist and all that stuff. But something seems to be seeping through because the polling for this elderly man is really not going well. And they even had to cover it on NBC with Chuck Todd this past weekend.
By a fairly large 71 to 28% margin, Americans say they do not have a lot of confidence in President Biden's ability to respond to this war. 57% say we are already at war with Russia or will be within a year, a very pessimistic view. 34% disagree. What's more, 68% would prefer Mr. Biden make the economy his top priority, compared with just 29% who want him to focus on ending this war. Overall, President Biden's job approval stands at just 40%, with 55% disapproving. This is his worst showing yet in our poll since he became president.
You know it's bad when corporate media, mainstream media, funded by Pfizer media, brought to you by the drug companies media, when they are going, man, this polling looks pretty crappy. We are in a lot of trouble here. Let me just say this about the war in general and whether we're at war or not. I mean, we're in a proxy war. We are in a proxy war. There's been no debate about this proxy war in Congress, although Congress wants to, Mitch McConnell, we've got to arm them and $14.8 billion. We don't have any money for our own stuff. But I was thinking, would it be a crazy thought to think that perhaps, guys, we have our own problems here in this country, that maybe we have problems related to supply chain and inflation and gas prices and health care and foreign policy, obviously, but that we've got a whole bunch of stuff that's a problem here. Our education system is in complete collapse. We're watching institutional collapse across the board in all of our trusted institutions. Perhaps we need to focus on that kind of stuff. We've got hundreds of thousands of people pouring through the southern border. Perhaps we should be thinking about what we could do there. Does that make me a Putin puppet? Does that make me a Russian apologist? Or does it make me a decent American who actually thinks that this government is completely inept and should have very little to do with our lives? And if it should have very little to do with our lives, it probably shouldn't have that much to do with Ukrainians' lives or Russians' lives. That's not to dismiss people being killed and displaced, and it's deeply troubling and disturbing. And I look forward to all of the good Democrats welcoming Ukrainian refugees, some of them Nazis, into their homes. Because that's what good people would do. So I don't think that anything that I've said here is unreasonable. As I always say, it would be nice if the president of the United States was capable. It would be nice. It would feel great, actually. Every time I show you guys one of those DeSantis videos, it's like, man, here's a guy in charge. You know what he thinks. He's basically doing what he says he's going to do. And there's a vision there. And he's fighting to keep people free. What is it that Joe Biden and this administration are fighting for? I have literally no idea, other than to just keep the charade going, right? There's no business like show business. That's where we're at this point. And the polling is it's just an absolute disaster. So that's the silver lining, right? I always try to get you the silver lining. The silver lining is this administration's in free fall. The woman who is second in command, Kamala Harris, nobody thinks she's even remotely competent. So perhaps enough of us will vote these people out when the time has come. Perhaps enough people, especially in the midterms, will say, hey, we got to get rid of the Democrats, and the Republicans ain't great, but they aren't all completely insane. That would be enough. It's not my words here that are crazy. It's their actions. That really is it.